Oh my gosh, here we are at Long Beach, California, and it's the amazing Ship of Gold display. Collectors are lined up to see the gold and the treasure that is here available. Bars of gold to delight the imagination. And the story of the shipwreck is more interesting than we could tell you.
This is 35 gold ingots from the SS Central American Treasure. They come in all sizes and purities, but the dollar value in 1857 is stamped on each and every one of them. This was the very first form of precise money that gold dust and nuggets took. A miner would take his gold dust and nuggets to an assay office who would melt it down, determine the purity, the exact weight, the exact purity, and the dollar value at $20.67 to the ounce. Back then, when we were using a 20 horsepower ROV and a whole different technique of getting around, basically we were using like a garden tractor on, as our robot. And in 2014, we were going back with a race car. I mean, the controls are so much better, the maneuverability is so much better. There's so much more available to you now in the way of digital everything integrated. It was like night and day. I mean, we learned more in terms of exploring the wreck in the first week we were back on there than we had in 4 years, particularly the areas that were more far-flung in the debris field and such. We missed a safe the first time. So we found the safe this time. That's where the bags of gold came from. They were in a saddlebag that was sealed in the safe.
How was the environment in the safe? Was it hermetic?
It's anaerobic, so all of it wasn't watertight, but they were basically in a deep ocean saltwater refrigerator, and with no oxygen for 157 years.
So still no government bars.
No government bars. No.
Do you think you got it all this time? They got it all?
I don't think you ever get all of a shipwreck. It's a very, very complex site with limitless possibilities. You don't know what the upper limit is. So you base your decisions based on cost and return, and you balance things that way.
You still think it's off limits for the average hobbyist to get down there to root around and see
the average hobbyist wouldn't have a chance.
Technology hasn't improved to that extent.
No, not to that extent. I mean, it's still an expedition that costs millions of dollars to go and work on a site like this.
Tell the story of your recent discovery when you launched the second expedition of recovery.
Well, the receiver of Tommy Thompson's insolvent companies hired me as chief scientist and historian, hired Craig Mullen, a legend in deep water recoveries, as the director of operations, and chose...
When?
Oh, in 2013 we did this. We studied the site. The receiver decided that there was an adequate supply of gold still on the shipwreck that would be worth exercising his rights to that asset. So he hired the two of us to oversee a contractor who's Odyssey Marine. So we went onto an Odyssey ship. They had the ship, they had the ROV, they had that crew. And Craig and I would trade 12 and 12-hour shifts overseeing the operation. And in doing so, we brought up another over 3,100 gold coins, over 12,000 silver coins, and 45 gold ingots, as well as more than 80 pounds of gold dust and nuggets. We have a lot of that on display here at the Long Beach Coin and Collectible Expo. in the Ship of Gold exhibit again. So it's a wonderful thrill to be able to bring this back to the public and to be able to tell my stories again.
And tell me about your conservation method.
Well, I use a neutral pH, balanced, I guess, formula constructed of sodium salts, not normal table salt. I tell people one of the salts is sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and the other two are not. The other two are proprietary. I won't share that, but it works marvelously. It removes rust, or what it really does is it loosens up the rust, because that is only a physical deposit on these coins. There's no chemical reaction between the rust and the gold. It loosens it up to the point where I can employ a very soft artist's sable hair brush to gently urge the rust to come off of these coins and to reveal them exactly as they were in 1857. If you had an 1851 Philadelphia quarter eagle in AU or XF, that's what you get. If you had a bright, gleaming, brand new, made 3 days before the ship sailed, 1857 S double eagle, that's what you get. It's a time capsule. So what I'm doing is my conservation and curating brings, it's like a time machine. It takes you back to that very moment when that gold got on the ship.
And what is the ultimate disposition of these relics and artifacts that you've gotten from this wreck?
Well, Dwight Manley is the managing partner of California Gold Marketing Group, and it is really up to him to decide how the disposition is going to take place. I'm just the scientist and historian. I love telling the stories. I love working on this stuff. I get to do the forensic science of the treasure itself. I see the dye polish. I see all of the tooling that went into the making of these things. It's just absolutely incredible. Is that a good?
The only thing, is there any recovery planned in the future?
There is no planned recovery at the moment. We know that there's more gold still on the SS Central America site because the shipwreck is complex and varied as this and vast. Is never really fully recovered.
Mm-hmm.